Good afternoon. Here to talk about my 1990 Yamaha DT200R. Yamaha started their DT series in 1968 with a 250cc bike, the DT1. It was rather an accident that it was so popular. Sales were slow, and Yamaha was told to get into the off-road market because no one was serving it very well in the Japanese manufacturers. Models continued throughout the 70s and 80s. This model was preceded by the DT200L that was released in 1984 till 88. In 1989, the DT200R was updated, totally changed into the model you see here in Canada. It sold in 1989, red and white color. Mine is a 1990 model. They changed the color to the light blue for 1990 and 1991. It was then discontinued till 1995 and was also sold in 1996. The last 2 years it was I'd say you would call it a white bike with purple seat and graphics. I believe this one is made to look like an IT model, as people were familiar with the IT200, and they also had this color on the RZ350 in Canada. From what I've read and seen and heard, the DT200R was majorly improved in its chassis. The frame was strengthened by 100% and greater in some areas. Fork was strengthened. It was bumped up from a 37mm fork to a 41mm fork up front. Rear shock was now a remote reservoir shock, adjustable for preload and rebound damping, and with a remote reservoir. What else can I tell you about it? Some of the features of this model. It has a Mikuni TM28 flat slide carb, 4-pedal reed valves. It has case reed induction, which is an improvement. Bore and stroke, 66 by 57mm, 6.4 to 1 compression. A neat feature, it carries its engine oil or two-stroke oil in the frame, just behind the steering head. It has a coolant expansion tank located behind the left-hand side panel, and that runs through the subframe, which is kind of cool. Disc brakes, front and rear. I've been saved by the radiator guards on many occasions, and the disc brake in the rear, the caliper, has an aluminum guard over it, which on the newer bikes you gotta buy. Wet weight, 122 kilograms with full fuel. What else can I tell you? It's very simple maintenance-wise. A home mechanic can do most everything required. Some things I've modified. Front brake. The pads are very poor from Yamaha. They're extremely hard and makes for a weak front brake. I upgraded to SBS pads with great effect. Before I did that, I decided to try a braided steel brake line and that didn't make a lot of difference. I did that first. Didn't make a lot of difference, so I put new pads, and then it was tremendous. I've had to coat the tank as my tank rusted, and it would keep plugging up the carburetor. I also rebuilt the petcock. Last thing I did recently, I put a fuel filter between the tank and the carburetor to stop any sediment from plugging the pilot jet, which seems to happen all too often. The suspension. I was ready to give up on the bike after riding it for a few years because the suspension wasn't the greatest and was holding me back. I resprung it, front and rear, with parts from Canon Racecraft in the United States. Very good service, very good product. Would recommend them highly. Canon Racecraft.com. After fitting new springs front and rear, I also went to Race Tech and bought a cartridge emulator for the front fork, and that seemed to work very well as well. It completely transformed the front suspension. In the back, I also recharged the nitrogen in the shock, which was completely depleted. That would be a recommended maintenance item. The shock also has grease zerks on the linkage, and I would recommend again that you actually use them. It'll stop your suspension from seizing solid. There's ones on the linkage and on the top of the swing arm in the front there for the swing arm pivot. Tires, I run a Dunlop D606 rear and a Kenda Trackmaster in the front. Seems to hook up very well with that. Kenda Trackmaster doesn't last a long time on pavement, but if you use it off-road mainly, it lasts a fair amount of time. And they're very inexpensive. D606, on the other hand, is more money, but it lasts and seems to hook up very well. I run ultra heavy duty tubes from Michelin and can drop my pressures down exceedingly low for off-road work, and that makes a huge difference. I have a Pro Circuit pipe and silencer for this unit, but I choose to run the stock one for just to keep it quiet and stock. I think it makes enough power the way it is. What you see flopping on the front fender is a service manual. If you go online, you can find these manuals in PDF, or you can also find these manuals written old-fashioned way. It's really a DT125 manual with a small section in the front for the DT200R with items that are specific to the 200R. I'll go through a few pages of it just to show you what it's all about. Maybe it'll help you in the future to see a few of these pages. Hang on. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Hopefully this will be not too bad. Let's go back a bit. There we go. Now we can get the whole page. Oop. Whole page. Some more of the specs. That's just some torque specs. This ain't bad to see. Torque specs. Ignition timing. And some torque specs. There you go. What else? One more. Yeah. Here's a funny one. 1.5 amps from the alternator, or from the generator. Couple notes on the YPVS. You need to run a battery, as it's an electric YPVS system on this model. If you do not, the power valve won't work and you'll eventually wreck the CDI box. So run a battery that works when you ride this motorcycle or run the engine. Anything else in this manual that's nice to see? Yeah. Oh, here we go. Let's go to the wiring diagram. That's always nice to see. Darn it. Now we're getting into some shadow here. Maybe I'll move and try and get us a better shot here. There we go. Just to make sure, I'll go closer here. What else do we got? shock absorber, carburetor, that's important. Engine idle speed 13 to 1400. Explains cleaning, what you want to clean with it. Sorry, boys. Too much. There we go. Hope that helps. Makes for a long video, sorry. Yeah, here's one the part number 3MH2819770. Yeah, I guess I could start the unit up for you. Let's take a peek here. There we go. I usually use the choke. I try and turn the fuel off. Drain the carb in the winter, the float bowl. Fill the tank up all the way. Or completely empty it and coat the tank with oil. Your choice. Try not to use ethanol in this bike. It's hard on it. Ethanol goes bad after as little as 3 weeks. It attracts water, promoting rust. So try and use non-ethanol fuel, and fuel stabilizer will not help. Even if you use ethanol, if you use ethanol, fuel stabilizer won't help with that. Okay, let's go see what we can do. I haven't started it for a week. Fuel on. Choke on. Listen for the power valve. Cycles and sets itself. Oh, she smokes a bit till she warms up. One interesting feature they include is they're very particular about the oil light right here. That's telling you that your oil reservoir is almost empty. Now with the neutral light on and the engine, when the engine's running, transmission is in neutral, this light comes on as a test feature. When you put it into first gear, that light will go out unless you have low oil. It's just a way to prove that the light is always working. Here we go. There we go. First gear. Second. Whoop. There it goes. First gear. Signal light. High beam. I hope it came through that the power valve does go through its cycle when it first starts. It's usually 3 motions. If it's not, you know your power valve is probably seized in place, or it's not working, cable broken. Could also be lack of battery power. Something isn't right. It sometimes just goes, if you stall the engine, it'll just go once and reset itself because it knows where it is. Let's try it right now, and we'll listen. There you go. Looking at the engine, here's where you check and adjust your power valve. There's a cable here and one here. Clutch cable goes right here, and then there's a push rod across to your clutch. What else can we show you? Petcock. Mine is on, off, reserve. Remote reservoir for the shock. You recharge it by, there's a bladder in the bottom and you need a pin to poke in there and recharge it. Engine tag. That's kind of cool. 3T. Spark plug. Let's see. Am I getting it? Yep. Cylinder head. Coolant temperature gauge sensor. I like this model. Comes with lots of nice features. Tips are spring loaded. Replace chain and sprockets for off-road use. You could probably take a tooth off, and I'm running stock gearing. I did have lower gearing for off-road. It was 1 tooth difference in the front, but it made it hard to go on the highway or road. It was too buzzy. What else can I tell you? Air filter, twin air filters are available, as well as stock filters. Keep an eye on your filter maintenance, very important. Plastic. I broke this one last fall, and I have replacements. Oh boy, now I did it. There. But I bought them from Portugal. That's one place I could find it. It's called bikerparts.com maybe. They're actually very nice pieces. You can get front and rear fenders, air scoops as these are called, and the side panels. I've got stock still and the side panels, and these are just they have oh, what do you call it, the vinyl wrap on them. A friend of mine made them up for me. I'll give you a quick peek at the engine from this side, in case you're putting one back together. It's always nice to have a little bit of a cable routing guide. There we go. You see your 2 cables on the carb. 1, 2. Let's see if we can't see what's happening here. Okay. It's very hard to see. The lower one on the carburetor seems to go all the way over. Where's it going here? Ay, ay, ay. Up to the left-hand side, and then the upper one, which ends up being that one. I'll move that out of the way and go right here. There it is. This one, which is the upper carb hose, runs underneath the little YEIS boost bottle, and it goes to the center of the cylinder. Goes onto there, and up to the center. Can I see it? No. Oh, there it is. Yes, it goes. The upper one goes to the cylinder head right by the ay, ay, ay. It goes to the center of the head where the oh boy, thermostat is. Sorry. Yeah, here's another one. This cable here is going to your throttle cable. It's a 2-piece throttle cable as such, and runs to the oil pump. This here one with the wire on it comes from the headstock tube coming down, and that feeds oil to the pump. And last but not least, this guy here, it's coming from the pump. It's the pump output, and it feeds into the intake manifold. There you go. What else do we got? Tachometer cable. Feeds right here. Again, it has a wire coil protecting it. And runs up and over. Up under the tank. What else can we show you? Oil plug, oil drain, oil sight window is back here. Let's see what we can do about that. There it is. Kickstart, water pump, expansion chambers there. Oh, rear brake reservoir for brake fluid. Line runs here. There is a couple, 2 clamps on the swing arm. Swing arm. There's your expansion tank for the liquid cooling system. Stoof under there. Wheel. Plug. You want to ride in Alberta? Check out Alberta Dual Sport Forum. .ca. Stickers. Being Canada, available in French and English. Nice. That's about it. A shot of the linkage, we could do that. There we go. Shock. Here's your filler for the oil injection. I had best luck running the expensive ester blend or ester 2-stroke oil from Motul. Very expensive, but you could you'd get a wisp of smoke when it started. Once it warmed up, you wouldn't get much at all. I'm currently using AMSOIL 2-stroke oil, which again I believe is ester based, but a friend had a barrel of it, so I'm buying it for less money. Trackmaster. Here's your radiators with guards. Nice round tube guards around the perimeter of your radiator. Horn down below. And that's where your speedometer hooks up. Front of the motorcycle, radiator again. There we go. Yamaha suspension. Here's your brake disc and caliper. Nice plastic guard. Beautiful wheels. There you can see the choke lever that you flip up. Petcock right there. So it's in the on position right now. If you look carefully on the petcock lever, you'll notice that there is an arrow on it, and you'll also notice, let's get a shot of it here, Maria, if I can, go back, find it, there it is, res off on, now, right at the bottom there, there it is, see the arrow? I bought a rebuild kit for that petcock for a fairly inexpensive price from Wimoto in England. Choke lever up. Down. Up and down, and again we're back to the choke cable. Rear shock with my beautiful Canon Racecraft spring. I'm still impressed with those guys. If there's anything else you need me to show you on this model, please let me know and I'll try and get some pictures of it for you. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.